So we rejoin our party at Tellemy Hill, having been greeted by the scent of sweet-smelling fruit and ascending the damp, downy, silvery green moss, or sending up the damp, downy, silvery green moss. This gentle slope being ushered by the friendly willow trees, who simply asked how long they planned to stay, with their responses of, well, I believe you just said not long. I think was literally what you said, if I recall. In
Uh,
either case, they trust you, and they have been sort of more or less ushering you up. Let me see.
okay, I guess
Yep.
I'm following them. For now, I'm trusting them.
Yep.
Right,
They've
yeah.
yeah. They seem to offer no hostile intent. In fact, with your actually, oh, I have to mouse over on this screen. Who has the with your passive insight, both Howard and Maxwell, you feel no malice from them. You feel like they are generally that's what I'm looking for. Warm to your presence. That's probably the best way to put it. And as you guys are ascending, they share the information that the goblin who lives in the cave up top, Jingle Jangle, is friendly, collects keys, much like Sir Televar has suggested with his own current lock predicament, and talks about them endlessly. In fact, she also wears a coat of keys that jingle and jangle as she walks, hence her name, and that 3 days ago, while rooting in the swamp for truffles, she was attacked and robbed by brigands. She hasn't left the hilltop den since returning to the hill and must be pretty hungry by now. And with both of, again, Howard and Axel, you get the feeling that these trees probably feel some friend or some sort of friendship with Jingle Jangle. But up top, you see you find a cave. Or need a, I got a throat bubble and it's bothering me. There we go. At the top of the hill, you find the den, a cave with an entryway shaped like a keyhole. Unfortunately, there's no art for this. But the grass kind of stops and it's more of a craggy surrounding. What do you four do? The trees kind of stop with the grass line itself.
Mm.
I mean, I'm not feeling like we need to make camp or anything yet, but we could.
Well, about that, recall you guys left late night from the festivities, and I'm pretty sure you guys haven't even had a long rest or short rest since. No, you may have had a short rest. Did you?
Yeah,
Don't
we did a
recall.
short rest at the bottom of the hill.
Yes. But I'm pretty sure you guys haven't done a long rest yet. Yeah, it's probably it feels like 2, 4. I mean, probably about 4 in the morning for you guys right now. You can push on. I will say though, you're all of you can observe, even though it feels like 4 a.m., the sun has not moved at all. This
Well,
constant
it's
twilight persists.
particularly late at this point, despite the weather we're seeing. Perhaps we should make camp here. It seems like a safe enough place.
I'm not opposed to getting a little bit of shut eye.
There is one small matter I was hoping to discuss with you all. You see, I seem to have forgotten to stock up on provisions before I left. So, how's everybody's food doing?
That is a good
Who's doing
question.
good? Who's doing well?
Would someone like to forage?
I can attempt to forage. I'm not very good. I have a +3, I guess.
Let me. There's one other thing I need to make sure.
Foraging? What do I do? Was that survival? Right?
Oh, well, I rolled pretty well.
Hey.
Unfortunately,
Nice.
I need to actually pull. There's something very specific about foraging in this campaign, but I'm not sure what section they put it in. Oh wait, nope, there it is. It's over here in the overview, which means there we go. Let's see. Yeah, with that, let's see, the 15. You find okay, so as you're moving along the rocks and kind of looking for maybe some kind of lichen or mushroom you can consume, or perhaps a small game that you can bring yourself to dispatch, you do find a water spring that can provide as much fresh water that the party can carry.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll come back and let the rest of the group know if they want to fill their canteens and stuff.
And on your way back, you trip over something, and you look back to see this, like, you're stumbling. Maybe you fall forward, maybe you don't. I'm gonna let you decide whether or not you're gonna.
I
right
definitely
yourself.
would fall.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, you trip over this picnic basket in your search for sustenance, and roll me a d8. Okay.
Hold on, guys. I gotta get water for my stun. I'll be
Oh,
right back.
Go for it. No worries. Yeah, you open it, and you smell this sweet, almost candy smell kind of cresting out from the basket as this mist kind of given form, like almost like cotton candy, but doesn't necessarily disintegrate with your touch as it would, or like the natural oils of your hands.
I'm debating. I'm really hungry, but also I know I'm not supposed to eat stuff here. So I'm gonna try and grab the picnic basket and take it with me.
Okie dokie. Yep, and you pick it up, and it's a surprisingly hefty amount. You feel like there's somehow enough cotton candy in this thing to feed the entire party should they want to partake. You can roll me a history check with disadvantage.
With disadvantage, you said?
Disadvantage. It's unlikely you might know this, but there's a chance. And I'm gonna say that you probably have heard there might be a reason that there's food left out for passersby, but where it comes from and why in particular, I don't necessarily recall the reason.
Do I think that this would be left with ill intent, or I just don't really know?
You feel as though something about it doesn't feel as concern. This doesn't feel like stealing. Something about this feels like it's freely offered without expectation. But beyond that, and this is just going by your insight here. There's no. This feels like there's no strings attached. Something about in your gut, in your ample gut, feels like this is safe.
Well, Maxwell hears his gut rumbling, and he's like, a wise point you bring up. Well, nothing ventured, nothing gained. And I definitely devour everything in the picnic basket.
All of
All
it,
right.
5 rations or
What
4
did I miss?
rations.
Sorry, it had 5 rations in it.
Yeah, it was
Ooh.
yeah, it's enough to feed the whole party.
Oh,
like
no, I'm
eating
going to
5
eat my
MREs.
one then.
It's like eating 5
meant
MREs.
Everybody else can have some.
This
That's
God, it
funny.
reminds me of this time I had a cotton candy eating contest with my brother. We got one of those like comically large 3-pound bags you get at a county fair, and I destroyed it in like 2 minutes.
Me,
I had a
anytime someone
system.
gives me a bag of Nerds clusters.
Oh, that too. That'll. Oh God, yeah. You know what? Nerds clusters would be pretty great. Unfortunately, I am clusterless at the moment. But nevertheless, your picnic basket full of katana candy is provided for the party as you venture back. What's everyone else been doing on his little foraging venture? By the way, this whole bit took you about an hour.
Holy smokes!
So he's been gone for an hour. You
Oh.
probably could see him in the distance, so you weren't that concerned.
Okay, I was gonna say, like, yeah.
You just saw him
if
like
he's
looking
been gone for
around
an
and
hour,
stuff.
if he's gone for an hour,
He wasn't gone, but he was busy for an hour. Let me put it that way.
gotcha. All right.
He's like, "Hey, look what I found! A picnic basket."
I don't know what I would have been doing for an hour. That's crazy.
Hey, boo boo.
Maybe eating. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Setting
around
up
being
camp.
anxious.
Setting up camp.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe setting up a perimeter, I guess, if we're setting up camp.
Okay. Well, if you're setting a perimeter, give me a perception as you're kind of on lookout, looking around.
Gotcha. Let me see. Where's my sheet? There it is. All right.
Okay.
14. That's not bad. Not bad. I'll take it.
Let me roll one thing on my end. Let's see if you do notice. Oh yeah, with her you hear it before you see it, but occasionally out of the corner of your eye and just outside or kind of poking from behind the keyhole cave entrance, you can see a small goblin kind of watching you all curiously.
Small goblin.
You catch the faint glimmer and sparkle of the many keys that adorn her, and in fact, this is what she looks like. Well, yeah. Well, you don't get a really good view. I'll put it that way.
Sounds like she
'Cause
wants my keys. Or it sounds like the goblin wants my keys, I guess, since I can't really make it out from this distance, probably.
I mean, no, it's a. You don't make a whole lot of detail out with that perception check. You do see her, you do hear her, or at least the jingling of her
Keys.
namesake. But you also do notice her weapon. And I'll send you. Basically, it's sort of dragging behind her, and I will send you an image. Oh, sending this to Mace, and I'll let you describe to the party what you've seen as you return from your scouting and setting up a perimeter, because she does not seem to return when she's.
Oh man, so this is all I see of her. Like I see like half of her.
Well, yeah, you saw her. Well, okay. I guess I can show you specifically. Hold on.
Okay.
I'll show you. Hold on. Let me show you the whole, and I'll let you describe what you saw.
Okay. Well, I think I can describe from what I see. I think I can describe the rest. Yeah, pretty much was what I was going to describe her. I saw this goblin that looked like she had keys covering her entire body, and she had like a sort of like a wand with 3 locks chained to it.
Wasn't that the individual the trees mentioned was struggling trying to find food? Perhaps we could assist them, provide them some food.
Yeah, I've got plenty of rations on my own personal equipment.
Also, I found this picnic basket in the woods, and I ate some.
Picnic basket.
And we could give them some of the picnic basket.
Yeah, sure.
I'm okay with that. I don't have much of a sweet tooth, to be honest.
I would also be.
I will
really
say though,
concerned.
when you consumed this cotton candy portion, Maxwell, you felt you give me an Arcana check if you would like, but you feel as though you have been magically sustained by it, as though even though you had a good amount of food back at the fair, this felt strangely upon the last bite of this cotton candy, as though a full meal had finally settled into your stomach.
Mmm. Assuming
Yeah.
this is like a good berry sort of thing.
Yeah, it's a good berry situation.
Oh, good berries.
And with that, I'm also going to say that you've noted. Well, actually, the history check was still kind of. I'll probably say that now that you've spent some time with this basket, the art on it, you feel as though it feels as though it would be extremely inviting for a child. As though it would, like, the design of the basket itself is to catch the attention of a child who might
Wait a
need it or
second.
want
Did I
it.
just get lured into a candy van?
Huh.
Beware the white panels.
Let me just write this little thing down for later, because it's an interesting turn of phrase. Anyway. Because there's, You know what? Maybe later. Nevertheless, you do, you've been sustained by your magical cotton candy. And beyond that, what have the other two been up to? You've been setting up camp. And any particular things you do in that process? Any particular meals you're planning to eat other than your rations and cotton candy?
I am just going to be sticking to my rations, but I'm going to try and start up a fire just for any potential cooking and warmth throughout. Actually, what is the temperature like kind of here?
The
Need
temperature, now that you're up on this hill, the air's a little bit thinner, and probably the humidity with it. So it's probably cool, but not necessarily cold. I would say it's if you were to take off if all of you were to like maybe remove a layer of your current clothing, it would just begin to be uncomfortable.
Yeah, so I'll create an evening fire for us, or a cooking one, and try and just set up, and then I'll follow up with setting up a tent.
Okay. And do you guys want to have a watch order?
I'll watch first.
I'll watch second.
I'll take third watch.
I guess that makes me fourth.
You can sleep off the cotton candy.
I got a sugar high.
Oh, before I forget, you notice one small hand reaching out from your pack and sort of idly grasping lethargically towards the cotton candy portion before a fistful goes back in. You can see it's your sprite. He's clearly a little hungover, maybe.
I'm not going to do anything about it. He deserves cotton candy.
Satisfying sprite noises are from your pack. And beyond that, he retires to bed with you then, and Dimitri, your first watch is otherwise uneventful. She does not reemerge.
That's okay.
But as the time goes on, the sky does not change. It continues to be twilight just as it was 2 hours previously. But we go on to Ashai as Dimitri's able to lay down. Ashai, what do you
Second
do
watch.
during your watch?
Very warily look around and just keep
Okay.
an eye on things.
Okie dokie. Let me see. I'm not sure. Unfortunately, it's not letting me. I'm trying to roll a thing such that I can actually have it. Well, no, it'll keep me honest. Screw it. Not that I ever was, but it's more fun to show where things land anyway. So, good fucking luck. Roll me perception.
Perception. Hey.
Okay. So, you've been staring at this keyhole for a good long time. And maybe maybe just the overall abundance of splendor around you overwhelms you. But you, while nothing of interest to your scrutining vision occurs, you do notice that when between one moment you looked and the next moment you looked away, that a light had turned on in the keyhole, but you don't recall when it had been lit.
Hmm.
Other than that, though, nothing of a real consequence occurs.
Can I tell third watch to keep an eye on the light in the keyhole?
Okie dokie. Go for it.
A light was lit in the keyhole, so at some point during my watch, might be something to keep an eye on.
Sounds
Howard,
good.
how do you react to being woken up in the middle of the night?
Oh,
Uh-oh.
not the best.
Okay.
Definitely very groggy.
Okay, so it'd be more like, so that, there we go.
Yeah.
Yep.
Imagine
Okay.
like sitting up, like it felt. I'm just because for some reason my mind went to Oblivion, or like, or actually no, Skyrim, like trying to talk to Jarl Balgruuf while he's asleep.
Jarl Balgruuf. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I'll keep an eye. Let me just go. Let me just have a quick drink of water and get right to it.
With that little nip of sip, you're able to rise and shine to your third shift. You've been watching the keyhole for a while, and I'll say that you hear it coming quite easily. One of the willows kind of works its way towards your camp and asks you why you haven't gone to greet Jingle Jangle yet. In a hushed, well, a whispering willow, if you will. So, why haven't you said hello? So as to not wake the others.
Have I personally spotted Jingle Jangle yet?
Not yet, no. But let me see one thing. I'm just gonna see whether or not she. Yeah, okay. You do occasionally see maybe an ear crest around the hole, or an eye peek around before hiding again.
I haven't said hello yet because I figure we get some rest first before we go introduce ourselves. Can't always trust a goblin,
The willow,
especially a thieving one.
you would feel as though there was an approximation of nodding up until you said goblin, which the branches stopped and the wind that seemed to be blowing around in through its leaves, stops as well, and it looks at you and goes, "But Jingle Jangle's nice. Jingle Jangle's
That's
not a thief, just terribly afraid of locked doors." And just begins to sulk away sadly.
Okay.
Other
Okay.
than that, your watch is uneventful.
So I go and wake up fourth shift and try and get a little bit of rest eye just before.
Okay. And Maxwell, while your shift is uneventful as well, Dimitri has a dream.
Oh boy, here we go.
This is what you're actually being visited by your. I have to double check what it is called on your sheet real quick.
Oh
It
boy,
is.
it's gotta go to my character sheet.
I have to go to your character sheet. It is your Feywild. You're getting a Feywild visit, and in this dream, a woman, or at least a feminine figure you've never met before, emerges from sort of a a green glow. I think some food's done.
Yeah, the burrito's done.
Okay, well, anyway, a woman made of leaves and bark emerges from some foliage, and with a hand outstretched to you says, "My, how you've grown." Before
I
your
take the
dream
hand, I guess?
fades.
My dream fades. Okay.
But
So
as you
what
go
did
to
I-
reach,
I
as,
saw-
as you're going to reach, it's the voice says to you, "One day soon, you'll find my sister. Help her."
Okay. Got it. I assume I don't get a response, but yeah,
No,
the dream just
that's
fades, yeah.
you might stir briefly, but then go back to sleep, unable to rekindle that dream. And you all arrive at morning. You finish a long rest, and you can all prepare your things, refill your spell slots, and regain all your charges on things that regain charges. I will say though, I'm not going to do any nonsense where if you have an item that says at dawn recharge your thing, I'm not going to do a thing in this where like, well, since it's technically always twilight and never a new dawn, no, it's just if you complete a long rest, your thing recharges with the at dawn requirement. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna actually too hard there, because then the game becomes unfun. But you all awake, and with your passive perception, Howie, you hear the faintest sound of snoring echoing in the cave.
Oh. Does it... I alert the others to the snoring, trying to be quiet to whatever is sleeping there, and I'd like to go sneak up on it.
Okay, well, give me that there's stealth roll.
Stealth.
God.
I shouldn't have had advantage. Had I
Well,
turned that
considering that they're asleep, I would have given you advantage anyway.
off.
Yeah, so Howie just turns invisible. No, he does the thing where like he just does a Batman. Where like one of you may have been like asking him a question like, "Hey, what would you like with your breath?" Like you go to turn, he's just gone. But yeah, you get up there effortlessly and peek into there, she had lit a torch and had passed out watching you guys. And the only thing louder than her snoring is the occasional rumble of her stomach as she lays there on the ground. In fact, now I can show you. Boop.
I'll go back and get the fellas and let them know that the Jingle Jangle is asleep in the cave over there.
Well, we should probably go introduce ourselves and maybe offer some assistance.
Agreed.
They're not going to be hostile, are they?
No, you can always trust the goblin.
A muffled,
I guess we'll find out.
Yeah.
a kind of a muffled voice begins to kind of scramble out of your pouch. Maxwell, apologies for my partaking in libations, as he produces his own punch card from the event with 8 punches in it. I may have used them all on humanoid portioned drinks. Now that my headache is reminding me of that being an egregious error, I see that you've brought one of the Sealy court here. Most delightful. Her Majesty would be gracious to hear that. And on that note... Oh, hold on. Hold on. Okay, I'm back now. And he rubs his brow for a minute. He can't... Hold on. You need the rules? I'll remind you of the rules, but hold on, maybe 5 more minutes. And he crawls back down into his pouch.
And I open the pouch and I shout into it, "Take your time, Reginald."
Not
Just
so
come on, you
loud,
feel better.
please, sir, that's very loud. As he goes to take some of the cotton candy and stuffs it in his ears.
And I close the pouch and I'm like, "Reginald's feeling a little bit out of the weather. Perhaps it's his allergies."
Sir Televar has a hearty laugh at this exchange and responds, "Oh, it reminds me of the time of when I introduced the bugbear to the concept of a bacchanal. Sprites aren't known for their restraint. I thought that was more of a pixie issue." And a singular hand goes to make a rude gesture out of the pack before warily descending back in. And nevertheless, let me see. I will say Ashai, Dimitri, and Maxwell, the 3 of you, with Dimitri with advantage, can roll me history or arcana with reference to what he meant when he said rules. The 3 rules.
History or Arcana? I think it's going to be the same roll no matter what here. Yeah. Okay. 8.
Okay, so Ashai gets it. And you rolled with advantage?
Oh, I forget. I keep forgetting.
Your
I
Fey
rolled
Loss
over
gives
there.
you advantage on a lot of these little...
Okay. 9.
Yeah, rules. Oh god, rules. You hate rules.
Yeah.
But Ashai, maybe through the grapevine, having worked at the carnival, you know of the rules of conduct, or at least have heard of them before. The first is the rule of hospitality. When a friend, an enemy, or a stranger enters your home, you are expected to be gracious and accommodating to them until such a time as they prove, by their words or actions, undeserving of such hospitality. Also, you can roll to Maxwell for this. This is Arcana or History. Shy did get it though, but whether or not, oh yeah, you know this
Holy
too.
moly.
Okay. And I will say though that, yeah, you would recognize these as specifically rules put in place by your patron, Zabilna. These are magically enforced here. Rule of ownership: you must not steal from a friend, an enemy, or a stranger. To take something that doesn't belong to you without the rightful owner's permission is a crime and an unforgivable breach of etiquette. That for permission thing, you that's what you get. You were right to hesitate at the basket, but something in your ample gut felt like something about this was given to you with permission. And the third rule,
Good to know.
the rule of reciprocity. When a friend, an enemy, or a stranger offers you a gift, you are obliged to accept it and offer something of comparable value, be it a gift or a service, in return. And such reciprocation need not happen immediately. These are rules that are binding here. So, knowing that, what do you do with the sleeping Jingle Jangle up top?
What was that second one?
The rule of ownership.
Rule of ownership.
I did post them all in the chat.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say I am literally writing these down. There it is.
I'm imagining like he's actually got like a little notebook as Maxwell and Ashai are explaining them to him. He's got like this little moleskin pad that he's scribbling it all down.
Yeah, you can't read this writing.
It's wow. It's just pictures.
I know goblins can always be trusted, so I'm going to walk right up and be like, excuse me.
Yeah. You startled Jingle Jangle.
Oh, my apologies. That wasn't my intent. The tree said you are hungry, so I came to give you some food.
Jingle Jangle was wondering why you stayed out. Was worried you were enemies or come from the bandits. But wait, food?
Well, I'm definitely no bandit, and as far as stayed out, it's a lovely night to sleep under the stars.
Stars? And she looks out at the, feel free to take an inspiration with that one, but like she looks out at the absolutely lack of any night sky. Haven't seen stars.
Well, just because you can't see them doesn't mean they're not there. I'm sure there's stars somewhere up there. You just have to have a little faith.
The concept of not seeing something when it's not there gets her a little distressed, and sometimes you cannot see things when they are there. That one brigand. No matter. Jingle Jangle not be bad host. Come in. And she gestures to welcome you in.
I follow her in and make sure to give her some of the cotton candy I promised.
Oh yeah, she greedily consumes it. And upon finishing, first let me double check here. Because, there we go. Yep. She immediately goes, well, for reciprocate, and she, would you like a key? I can give you one, only one. Or Jingle Jangle only give one. And you could feel with that act of kindness a little bit of something slipped in her at like a little bit of her mind kind of clicks back into place. And you could, for that one slip of her saying I, there's like a little more lucidity in her eyes before something kind of flashes back. And she begins looking at her cloak for among the various keys, and Sir Televar begins to attempt to get your attention from the cage.
Oh, yes. What is it?
He begins pointing at one of the silvered keys. I believe that one would do.
I look over at it. If it wouldn't be too much trouble, and I point out the silver key, that one looks particularly interesting.
She happily offers the the key as reciprocation, and you can see that her spirits and mood having visibly improved. The three of you down in the hill, you notice that the mist around seems to kind of shimmer with a little more iridescence, almost like the land itself is getting a little more upbeat, as she merrily delights in that what little remaining morsels of cotton candy remain.
And I lean over to my prisoner friend. I mean, I guess he is a prisoner. He's not my prisoner. But I'm like, so I assume this is the key to your apparatus here.
I believe so. If you would be so kind as to do the honors, I shall
Absolutely.
repay you immediately.
And I try to let him out.
Effortlessly, the key goes in, clicks, and the door swings open. Sir Televar flies out, and before doing if I were to rotoscope it, I would rotoscope this scene with the genie stretching as he gets out of the lamp, like the 10,000 years stretch, even though it's only been maybe 8-9 hours. Well, no, maybe about 12 hours for him. Just 12 hours in a cage will give you such a crick in the tail. And he then, in payment for your duty, your majesty, he gifts you a dagger. Well, I should have known one of your noble bearing would carry a task post-haste. And he presents you with a +1 dagger.
Well, thank you. I appreciate your gift.
Now, if you must excuse me, and takes a bow to Jingle Jangle, I must inform my compatriots of what's been transpiring here in Prismere. Toodaloo! And he begins...
Have fun. Don't be a stranger.
Laps away. That's the sound when a fairy dragon flies.
That's the sound of a fairy dragonfly, yeah.
I'm going to make sure I meet up with the group, and I'm going to be like, our friend who was in the cage got let out, and he provided this dagger as compensation, but I can't say I have much use for it if someone wants it.
But I don't have a use for daggers either.
I think I can take it.
Okay. Yeah, it is... Let me double check. I'm pretty sure it is straight up just a +1 dagger. But I'm making sure. I think when I ran this, I think Jack made it a dagger of warning. But I'm just double checking to making sure that wasn't him home brewing, or it actually is a dagger of warning, which actually has its own merits. Unfortunately, oh, there it is. Okay. Okay, well, technically, it's called the +1 tiny sword. It's a dagger. Because it was, in case you need a refresher, it was the sword that he had on him. Mm-hmm. And in fact, you can you can speak Sylvan, correct?
I'm not sure.
I can, if you can't.
I don't speak.
I picture it as wielding a cocktail sword that goes through those cherries. You like hold it in between your pointer finger and your thumb, and you're just like poking people with it.
It's a letter opener.
Very little sword. Let's see. Common and infernal.
Okay. So you see Sylvan runes on the blade, but nothing that you can make out yourself. Although if you do present it to the others that can read Sylvan, it just says Sir Talavar.
Personal sword. It's very kind of him.
As I hand it over, I'm like, I'm not sure if those magical rules apply to us giving things to each other, but feel free to give me the bare minimum if you're forced to give me something in return.
Oh, there was the part about it being, it was, rightful owner's permission. Also, the service could be the act of friendship. We're in the Feywild.
True.
Maybe the real acts of service are the friendships we made along the way.
Real.
Oh,
Thank you for the sword.
And let me write down in the story tracker real quick. By the way, when he said Your Highness, Jingle Jangle got real wide-eyed and almost it kind of reflexively began curtsying a little. Edit. There we go. Sometimes I forget how to do this. There we go. And then, so Ashai has the dagger?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Okay, well, with that, we've got all of y'all caught up to date. Now, instead of being more frightened by the uncertainty of what you guys would do, Jingle Jangle is just now more or less starstruck with the fact that royalty has come to her doorstep. And she seems to be almost beckoning you guys in.
I'll come in.
She thanks you all, and she makes it a point to say that, nope, not that sheet. That's unfortunate. Yeah, she makes it a point to say that she'd been, she doesn't want anyone else to kind of get beat up like she was with like the brigands. So she tells you that yeah, when Jingle Jangle was digging for truffles out in the swamp, when a bunch of herringons leapt out from behind the reeds and shrubbery, they took Jingle Jangle's truffles and threw Jingle Jangle down in the mud and whacked Jingle Jangle with their wooden clubs. Jingle Jangle doesn't want new friends and royalty to get hurt.
How terrible.
Jingle Jangle knows secret. Slackjaw
What
Lorna
kind of
Haggis.
secret?
But she has... Oh, where is it? First things first, she tells you about how she came to meet Bavlorna. And when Jingle Jangle was afraid of locked doors and being on the wrong side of one, and as she catches her breath, a kind of sheen like glasses her eyes for a second, and an almost unnatural calmness hits her as she goes to like looks and touches her keys. But Bavlorna made it so keys, if Jingle Jangle has keys, there's no fear. There's no locked door. Jingle Jangle has keys. And Jingle Jangle knows one other key. And she begins to kind of move her arm in a clockwise pattern before shaking her head and then turning her back to you and then doing that. Jingle Jangle once saw Bug run like this in front of her. And she starts sneezing. But she is not the only... But she also has other secret. She why Herringon so mean, so strong. Agdon Longscarf. You hear of him?
I look at the others. I certainly haven't.
The one that the last session when the guys encountered the brigands, it was actually who they were singing about.
Oh.
But you have not encountered him, no.
I guess I've heard a song about him, but I don't know if that counts.
If songs say he fast, song is true. And she holds up, she pulls up like a little part of her, like, well, actually, let me make sure I'm describing the... She pulls up her sleeve slightly and she shows like a bit of her arm that has a small little brand on it. Just a tiny little sear. And she says, Jingle Jangle only saw him once. But Jingle Jangle knows he was there more than once. He moves fast with a bright blue scarf. But it takes a long time behind him. It drifts and flows. If Jingle Jangle was stronger, she could have grabbed it. But you look strong. And she looks at Dimitri. Can you get revenge for Jingle Jangle?
Usually don't work in the realm of revenge, but I certainly can try.
Revenge for truffles and beating Jingle Jangle. Reciprocity. And you can feel a sort of like a sourness like emanating from her over this.
Gotcha.
But she does circle back and reminds you of, or she brings up one final detail. That there is one guide in Hither. There's one scarecrow with the pincher claw named Clapper Claw. He lives near Pavlorna, but he's a really good guy. He knows how to get from hither to thither, and is safe to go. Where hither has but recall, yes, Pavlorna rules hither, but her sister rules thither. But if you can... No, yes. You can talk to him. He'll be safe. He's just sad. Don't remember why, but Pavlorna probably takes something too. Jingle Jangle's still tired. and like a sort of visible fatigue seems to be washing over her as she kind of begins to move back to her cave and thanks you all for visiting.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
She gives a little curtsy and drags her flail back into her cave. And she's basically happy to see you all. And before she like retires all the way into, for lack of a better term, her resting room to better recuperate from her passed out night shift, she does turn to you and say, "Thank you for making Jingle Jangle happy." And she goes to sleep. I will say, though, as you guys do depart, you can see the trees down towards the hill, kind of like dancing in like a little celebration. And one of them, I'm going to say Howie, because you've been talking with them. Actually, no. No, they've been listening, and Kurt was the one who knew to trust goblins, so they give Kurt, His Highness, the Iron Key. They found an iron key that Jingle Jangle had dropped, and they want you to have it. They insist it'll be useful later.
It's funny because I was just doing that as a joke. Because like, it would be funny to say the opposite. But if I'm the king of the goblins, I gladly accept this honor.
Oh, you're the Witchlight monarch.
Oh, true.
They actually have to call you Your Highness. You are recognized as royalty here.
Oh well, gee, thank you. I'm not sure I'm deserving of such an honor, but I am very grateful.
His Highness is good at jokes too. And the trees kind of shift about as though they were laughing and clear a path for you down the hill. And let me make sure I've got noted who is a story chart. There we go. Okay, there we go. And as you guys descend, what would be your next objective, other than the concept of revenge and investigating Bavlorna? You guys are kind of free to your own discretion to depart this hill, as it kind of has settled down again into a sweet-smelling mist.
Well, it sounds like someone is being quite the bully. Perhaps we should locate them and help the local area out.
You three?
No, I agree.
I believe if we find one of their wandering brigand bands, we might be able to get some information on where this person is.
Quite the astute idea. I like that.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, because we're at the top of the hill, are we able to see very far? If we're able to see any movement walking, marching about?
I would say that for the most part, you can tell. You can probably you can see like in the distance the poking out of the mist, maybe like the crest of that stump with your passive perception even. But overall the swamp just seems to kind of carry on into a misty, foggy difficult to discern mess as he goes further and further away. Perhaps you might see one of these gushing OLs or a... actually, give me an active perception check.
Second.
Yeah, you see what seems to be a smaller structure moving. It looks almost as though... There it is. Yeah, in the distance, you see kind of wandering around a building. And I will... here's what you see. But you more like from the perspective of the roof. Because you're, on top of the hill. Just kind of wandering through the muck. High or low tide, or sorry, during low tides.
Well, didn't find any particular clues, but I found an interesting landmark that we might stumble upon some archer honors if we head towards. Anyone want to go check out a walking house?
Absolutely. I'm always up for adventure.
Okay, so whoever is in the front of the group, if you could roll me a D2 real quick.
I'll
Sure
take
thing.
the lead just because I
Oh, you
know
want
which
it?
way-
Okay,
Just because I know which way we're going at the moment.
gotcha.
Okay, it is currently high tide. So, as you guys you make your way down the hill pretty effortlessly, but you get to one of these river banks, and let's see. Yeah, the water itself looks like it is. Apparently, it's all. Why did he have us? I'm starting to realize that there was a. Oh, hold on. I have to double check. Because I'm pretty sure. Okay, so no, that's just for moving other things. Got it. Okay. When I ran this, when I was playing this game, they had me, or Jack had us swim across every river, and I was getting a little wary about that. But I'm reading the notes here. It's 5 feet deep,
Oh,
but the visibility in the water is only 10 feet.
like it's crystal clear.
No, I mean like you can only see about like 10 feet into the water before like the murk makes it completely opaque. You can see things moving around as far as 10 feet, I should say. Let me put it that way. Anything past 10 feet and it's functionally hidden.
Yeah, either side.
Also, let me move y'all. Also, if you would like, you can roll a d8 as well, as you guys are treading this water here and making your way to that. Oh, perfect. Yeah, you get to the water. That's perfect. And you guys encounter an abandoned 8-foot square wooden raft.
Oh, nice.
It can support up to 1,200 pounds.
Just me then.
Oh, pizza. And then, yeah. If you need a 10-foot pole or similar tool to guide the raft across the water. Now, currently it's high tide, so you can use it to traverse the rivers quite easily if you've got some kind of stick to use.
Is anyone particularly good at finding an oar?
By the way, the raft
Or
weighs
this raft?
300 pounds.
Like, I'll take a look around, see if there's something we can use, but could I get some help as well?
Sure, I can help.
Okay.
I can't be much help moving the raft, but I'll certainly look for the ore.
Yeah, that's.
Give me
I'll
a
help if I
survival
can
with
also.
advantage. A 10 will do it. I'll let you find some kind of... Yeah, you find some kind of root you can use that's sturdy and dry enough that you can kind of finagle. It's an ugly looking stick. It's not the most, let's say, functional 10-foot pole, but it'll get you from point A to point B eventually. You can move the cart along the river now. And thankfully it is high tide, so you can move it with ease. If it does get to low tide though, it gets stuck and cannot be, won't budge unless carried or dragged.
Oh,
But-
shall we hop on?
After you.
Boarding and pushing off with the raft. A shy, would you be so kind as to roll a d8?
A D8.
There are several that we're going to be re-rolling if they occur. Re-roll that one. Okay. Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, as you guys are passing, I would say, while there is one here, this map isn't necessarily to scale, and there is another one alongside you, and you hear the rush of water in the distance. Just kind of audibly nearby.
Okay.
You can choose to investigate or not. You can keep going too.
Well, do we want to take a look?
Yes. Yeah, I say we should
Probably
investigate.
safest too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you come across an O well. It's what they're describing them as. A steady geyser is shooting from it and rising to a height of 30 feet. And I think most of you have a passive perception to easily see this. And if I'm going to double check this. Yes, no, yes, no. Okay, so Howie and Maxwell, both of you see... both of you roll a d4, we'll take the higher. Thank you.
There we go.
You see 4 trinkets bobbing in the water atop the geyser.
Like how high up?
Like cresting the water, 30 feet up.
Oh,
Pretty cool.
okay. There's something bobbing up at the top of that, but I'm not sure if it'd be worth using my wings for the second time to go get it. Maybe we could have something else push it out of there?
I potentially have an idea.
Yeah.
Anyone? Or well, how murky is this geyser?
I would say the water quality seems to be of the same quality of the water you guys are on. It's rushing, so it's a little more frothy, if you will. It's basically blasting swamp water.
I was figuring could potentially ride the geyser up to the top and snag them all.
You could.
Not sure how much I want to get swamp water on my nice.
I could check
Nice
to see if
outfit, though.
Reginald could go get it, but it might be too heavy for him, depending on what it is.
How much does Reginald weigh with all his equipment?
I have no idea.
Is it 299 pounds or less?
Less, for sure.
Okay. So you're gonna step into it?
Well, I'm thinking ask Reginald to fly up there and grab whatever it is and come back down.
Oh, yes. I could do that. I could see the. I don't actually. Let me double. Let me double check.
Oh,
Sprite
Reginald,
character
would you
sheets.
be a doll and go up there and grab whatever that shiny thing is?
I see 4 shiny things. Yeah. And also, let me see. Oh, okay, yeah, no, they don't have that sense. I thought they did. They just have normal. I thought they had like extra vision stuff, but it's for morality. So he nods and then turns himself invisible, and you see your pack kind of shift a little as it opens, and then the flap shuts, and you hear a flittering away before one of those trinkets is grabbed, and a small light appears nearby, just within 5 feet of the geyser. And it seems to be accusing Reginald of being a dishonorable thief, insisting the item be returned at once.
Oh, we certainly don't want to steal anything from anyone. Please go put it back.
Reginald sighs and then places it back at the top of the geyser. Interestingly enough, they don't really give me a whole lot to work with apparently on this encounter. But so the wisp is pleased with you returning the item, and more or less returns to their invisible state and leaves you to it. Because all it says here is they they insist the items are stolen, or the stolen items are returned. Attacks you if you don't, or fail to provide a worthy substitute. And that's it. They don't give me any little lore blurbs to give on you guys, unfortunately. So with that, unless you have anything else you'd like to do with this O-ring, you are free to carry on. And while you guys are mobilizing, Dimitri, could you roll me a d8?
A D8, I shall.
We're going to be re-rolling duplicates here.
A 3.
And that wasn't a duplicate, thank goodness.
Awesome.
And in fact, that is perfect, because as you guys take a while to maneuver up the river, that building that you saw earlier, Howie, begins to kind of trot alongside you guys before coming to a stop and settling down as you guys begin drifting further north.
There she is. Shall we dock the raft for later and go on by foot?
Yeah,
Sounds
might
good
as
to
well
me.
Stop in.
Yeah, not bad.
Okay. So as you guys approach this inn, you notice the fleshy legs that have now kind of descended a bit. And Howie, you noticed earlier when you watched that the inn only seemed to stop for about 10 minutes at a time. So you approach, and within this 3-story slate-shingled roof and worm-eaten wood walls, dozens of tiny orbs of pale light buzz the exterior like flies. And as you guys approach, you smell the smell of a hearty stew wafting from its windows and see smoke rising in cottony puffs from its smoke chimney.
Might get a nice warm meal.
Oh. Oh wait, they actually have a specific inn. Hold on. Actually gave me this. So apparently they want me to use the DMG's in interior map, and now I'm wondering, is that map even an option in my assets? Okay. Well, in either case, it doesn't necessarily matter, because as you guys approach and knock on the inn, you are greeted by an elderly female human. And she introduces herself as Sue Harabax, and immediately welcomes you all in as guests, offering you free beds, hot meals, and slices of delicious plum pie for all.
Oh, happily.
Although she does insist that she can't do any of this for free, but any old trinket will be sufficient. But yeah, she'll accept. Oh, okay. She happily takes your curious little jigsaw piece and offers you a whole pie and says you're free to spend the night. Actually, you know what? I've got the voice for you're free to spend the night, sugar. Have yourself a plum pie.
Oh, thank you very much.
This lovely little jigsaw piece might be just the piece I'm missing. And she goes to a collection of various teacups and finds a rather curiously designed one to place it under as a saucer. Perfect. Thank you, sugar.
I'm afraid I don't have any trinkets, but I do have some lamp oil I could give you if you are interested.
Not sure lamp oil does me any good, but I'm sure you might find a thinking of a something you might be able to do soon. Just then give me a few minutes.
How about the lamp?
Is there any stories tied to this here lamp? Any memories?
Let me think.
And for you, sugar. And she looks to you, Ashai.
I have a deck of cards.
Ooh, a game. Now that would be delightful. I've always been partial to board games, but card games are a second best. And she gives you a slightly different but equally delicious smelling plum pie. It's like it's the difference between like a shade of violet and like a shade of slightly purpler violet. And she puts it in a cupboard full of other board games. And before looking to you, Dimitri, and she sees your little toy buddies.
Yeah.
And says, "Oh well, and aren't they just delightful?"
They are. They're all my favorites, especially Mr. Bright here. I got a special place in my heart for him.
Yeah, that's the unicorn, right?
Yeah.
For some reason, I'm imagining it like a stress relief toy with like when you squeeze it, the eyes pop out.
yeah, it's one of those. Yeah.
But so I'm getting you're implying I can't reasonably convince you to part with these cute little fellas. Well, is there any other way you'd be interested in repayment for a hot meal and a warm bed? Because I simply cannot let you have anything for free here.
Okay,
Everything
yeah,
has to
sure.
be.
Let's see. Let's see what I got on me real quick. Well, what do you want? Something currency or trade?
Any old trinket will do.
Any old trinket will do.
And
Well, I have
as you,
this.
oh,
I was going to say I have this horn in my possession. I don't know if you could find any sort of use for it.
um, she looks at the horn and goes. Well, first off, when you say horn, which horn was it?
It's the play a known tune, DC 10 or improvise. Yeah, it's just like a musical. It's
Oh,
just like
music horn. Okay, okay,
yeah,
okay,
musical horn. Yeah, yeah.
okay. Yeah. Yeah. She'll actually she will accept this quite graciously, and she goes. This reminds me of there used to be a lot more music around here before Bev Lorna and her hourglass coven what ruined everything. In Zabilna's time, this inn was the talk of Prismere. And that name kind of makes the hair on the back of your neck stand on end because that is again your patron's name, Maxwell.
I nod appreciatively.
Yeah, she'll talk about she'll talk about like when times were better with almost a morose tone. Reverent, but almost like almost like she's hiding a mask of sadness.
Gotcha.
In fact, after a bit of back and forth, I guess she would say that Sue would love to see. And in fact, with your enthusiastic nodding, she says that she would love to see Zabilna restored to power. If only she could escape that swampy mass. If only so she can escape this swampy morass of hither. Because she used to travel Prismere as a whole, anywhere in the domain. Now this
Oh.
whole domain is split into 3, and she can't leave hither at all.
Well, knowing Zabilna, I can't say I know her motivations, but it certainly sounds like something I've been sent here to deal with. They aren't always clear, but that certainly sounds like her machinations at work.
Her machinations? No, it's that damn coven, if you'll pardon my gnomish. But before they took over, and she kind of gives pause and looks around, almost like weary about uncertain of who's who and loyalties of company, and she just returns to, well, in Zabilna's time, this inn was the talk of Prismere. But Zabilna hasn't been seen. Scuttlebutt has it, that hourglass coven is up to something. They're the reason she hasn't been round. Say, you seem to take a shining to her. Why is that, as she looks to you, Maxwell? I don't recognize her.
Well, you see, I made a deal with her many years back, and that's the source of my power, I guess you would say.
Well, isn't that funny? I sure hope you can help her out. For you and me both, but knowing that you're tied to her, especially you. Tell you what, if you promise to do everything possible to restore her to power, I'll consider that payment enough, and you can stay whenever you like, sugar.
I can surely do that.
And she spits in her hand and holds it out to you.
Oh yeah.
I graciously accept her handshake.
Spitless, but it'll do.
Well, no, I make sure to do the spit
Oh,
too.
okay.
Sorry, I didn't
good,
realize
okay.
that was the whole
Okay,
thing.
we have sealed the pact in saliva, and yeah, she's willing to let you basically all spend the night, especially you, Maxwell, whenever you need it. Should the inn have happened its way towards you, she doesn't control where the inn goes though. The inn does that, and then
The
after
inn
about
controls where the inn goes.
yep, and you guys have noticed that the inn for the last maybe few minutes or so has started to shift up and has begun to move as you guys are eating the pie. But it seems to be traveling northward still.
Hey, nice.
I will say there's also a hearty stew for you all to partake in.
I will partake in the stew.
I definitely partake in hearty stew.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Or a nice warm hearth, of
Stew it
course.
is.
All of you get an inspiration from hearty stew. And you now have a checkpoint. You can now load here from you've quick saved.
Quick saved, yeah.
I will say
Just
though,
in case we.
had you rolled this encounter sooner, it would have been a suitable long rest, but you guys just had a long rest, so if anything else, you can ask her about... I'll use this opportunity for you guys to ask her a few questions, but I need to step away for a moment to use the restroom. But I'm listening, so you guys can discuss amongst yourselves if there's any questions you would like about... I don't know, any questions you want to ask Sue about Hither or its denizens.
Maybe we should ask her about like this coven she's talking about. Any information she can give us, weaknesses, what their whole setup looks like, any of that stuff.
And the herring gone, right?
Oh yeah, I guess the Herringon work for them.
Because we're looking for the one that the revenge plot. We're on revenge plot duties.
Well, as for the info, she doesn't. So in the asking about the coven, she doesn't know a whole lot per se, as their, for lack of a better term, as she puts it, takeover was recent. As for weaknesses, she laughs and says, "Course they have weaknesses. And course I don't know them. They keep them close to the chest. But it's usually something small, unique, like a passphrase or a symbol, or just a little an action, something small around them. But other than that, I can't say rightly what. Try to avoid getting close to them personally. And considering I'm stuck here in Hither, and Bavlorna never leaves her house, I'm probably safer that way." With regards to the Herringon, she says that they're locals. They weren't always so cruel. But since Bavlorna has them under her thumb, they kind of got kind of lean into their more, to put it politely, mischievous sides. They're not murderers, but they sure have a blasé attitude towards, shall we say, being a gracious guest or host or reciprocation. The way they've been arguing it is that everything here belongs to Bavlorna, so it ain't stealing in the first place. I don't necessarily agree with that, but so long as they're following that Agdon fella, I don't think they're gonna be able to see much reason on the matter.
What about her, uh, or the coven's whole living situation? Do you know what it looks like? How heavily guarded it is? Any tips or tricks if we would want to visit them for some reason?
All their lairs are guarded, but their homes too. And as homes, they gotta treat their guests with grace. Still, the only one I've even seen is here in Hither. The other two keep to themselves in their own parts of Prismere. They've cut this domain in three, you see. Hither, thither, and yon. And she kind of, she on a table, she like gets a little bit of charcoal from like the fireplace, and begins to kind of like scratch on some parchment. And she draws like an oval, and she like splits it into threes, and then draws like a little castle at the top of this oval. And in the middle, she writes, Hither. We're here. It's a swamp. Everything's mired in the moment. Stuck. And then she goes over to well, their direction is, I'm only using this image to keep it simple. Up and down and left and right are only suggestions here. You should know what that's like, and you're kind of like reflexively nodding along, Dimitri, but I'm not sure.
Yeah. No, I'm not. No.
She feels like she takes a look at you and assumes you should understand what that means, but really, she's trying to get across the idea that location and distance and direction are more of a theory than an actual constant out here.
Yeah.
So
Gotcha.
something being right and left of something is more of just to keep it simple in your perspective. It's not necessarily exactly to the right or to the left. Feywild
Yeah.
funky. Nevertheless,
Gotcha.
she goes to the next one and just shows you, writes down thither. This is the realm of Scabatha. What? I know her name, but I don't know much else. Scabatha Nightshade. I know back when Prismere was connected, this region was a beautiful forest. And then over here, and she goes to the opposite side of this oval she's drawn, to the left, she writes Yon. This is where Endolin, the third sister, resides. Once was a beautiful mountain range with lovely gems and crystals and the like, but I hear tell it's nothing but thunderstorms and misery now. Worry over tomorrow and what the future might bring. But we're back to the matter. We're here. She seemed with the power. With the passive insight Howard and Maxwell have, you're getting the vibe that she's really leaning into Maxwell here. And while she's not like explicitly referring to him as Your Highness, she's definitely been giving him the bigger portion of every cut.
Right.
Nevertheless, she says, we're here in Thither, ruled by Bavlorna Blackstraw, also known as Slack-Jawed Lorna, on account of her mouth's always open. Beyond that, I know that, and she kind of like draws this frumpy looking frog thing. I know that she's got the herringon under her thumb, but more specifically, that long scarf fella. I think she's got some deal or pact with him, keeping him rightly powerful, but also bidden. Beyond that, I can't rightly say I know anything else. It's only speculation, theory, and scuttlebutt. But lots of folks come visiting. And the inn seems to have settled. Let's see. If it moves for an hour, yeah, it's been moving for quite a bit. You guys may have tied down your raft, but you would probably have to trek back to go get it.
Did we ask about where to find the Heron God guy we're supposed to get revenge on?
Oh, yeah. She says that the Herringon base themselves out on the Brigands Tollway, a series of bridges and docks and piers that all run into a giant central wooden stump. They stand above the mucky waters below, so that way they can avoid the high and low tides.
All right. Well, it sounds like that's probably our next location if we want to get rid of this bully.
Okay. Well, the inn begins to settle down. Well, if you wanted to go, I believe it's just a bit further north of here. But I'm afraid we might have left your raft behind. And you guys are probably several miles off at this point. Not an unwalkable trek back, but you could get it.
Is it still high
Guys,
tide?
okay if I
Yeah, it's
turn
still high
in
tide.
here?
Oh, you want to? Oh, you want to tie? Oh, yeah, that's okay. We're good.
Yeah.
We can
I'm
we can
sorry.
wrap it up here. Yeah,
No problem.
We'll call it with the party gets out of the inn and is several miles away from they've left their raft, unfortunately, but they've received a lot of information in the process. Just kind of within your field of view, you would see the piers and bridges. It is across another stream at high tide, but it's not impassable. You're not going. It's not like you're going to die maybe from crossing the water. But we can continue this next time. And thank you all for showing up.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Yep.
Good session.
Fun. Have
Good
a good
session.
week, guys.
You too, man.
And